pros, all pros were on that team, and Michael Bishop and K-State lit them up. And it was awesome, dynamic football like today, high scoring and athletic, but K-State really ran them off the field. K-State was just better, more disciplined. Bishop looked better than Donovan McNabb. It didn't turn out that way in the pros, but when we finished off the 1997 season, the only loss was an early loss to Nebraska, and we were a legit power, which led to next year being ranked number one in the country.
And that was the year where they got over the Nebraska mountain. Is that correct?
1998
yes.
was the time they won.
I was at that
40-30 in Manhattan, and K-State fell behind either 14-0 or 14-7. So it wasn't a rollover. I mean, Nebraska came out and fought so hard. K-State had to go win the game, and they finally got that first win since 1968, I think, against Nebraska.
Yeah, and it was a huge moment.
That's
there.
the 1998 season, the
that.
number one in the nation. But I couldn't have said in 94, 95, 96, couldn't be more proud of how good K-State's team was, and they can compete and win any game, but national power, end of 97. And when I walked around with the fireworks going off at midnight with Greg Sharp and his wife Amy, because Mitch had started doing the Chiefs games for 2 seasons. In 94 and 95, Mitch did Chiefs and K-State.
Right.
And then he said, I can't make it to all these places. I'm going Chiefs only. Greg Sharp, who's our sideline guy, a WIBW guy, K-State grad, Greg Sharp became the play-by-play voice. And so he was with me for 6 years. So he and his wife, Amy, my wife, Nancy, we were walking around after K-State beat Syracuse in the Fiesta Bowl just a few blocks away, watching the fireworks go off and go, wow, we saw as good a football team as there is in the country. I mean, we can beat anybody. So it was a great January 1st, 12:01 on the clock. Our expectations were off the charts in 1998, and it played out that way. They were very, very good.
And at this span of time, as K-State is growing, you're growing a family. You're a very busy guy, and so you have to compartmentalize, but a big part of the compartmentalizing is that a lot goes on to your wife.
Absolutely.
And talk about your family growing and being such a busy guy.
Yeah, Nancy, my wife, doesn't get enough credit because for a lot of reasons, but one, they see me and I'm more public, stand up and speak, and she may either not be there or it has no problem being in the background. But a lot of times Nancy isn't there because this whole time I went from 4 years at KPMG and accepted a CFO position for a company owned by the billionaire Bass Brothers, a big agricultural company in Kansas City, National Farms, and it was the other place that I was auditing. So I went to work there, and by the time we get to 1998, on September 18th of 1998, the day before K-State stuffed Ricky Williams. He was the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
This is the start of the Big 12, right? I mean, the Big 12 started in 96. So this is our first time to play Texas. Remember, you didn't get to play teams for 2 years? Our first Texas game, Colt McCoy was a quarterback. They had a Heisman Trophy winner. Mac Brown coached. The Texas was ready to roll, and K-State stuffed him, held him for like 34 yards. Well, that was September 19th. Landry, my youngest son, who now plays football for K-State, was born on Friday night. And so during this whole period of time, it's our fourth child, and Nancy basically had this responsibility, right or wrong. I'm a bad guy or whatever, but don't count on me for anything. I mean, I would love to go to the kids' games, dances, school functions, whatever. I tried to be there, but if I wasn't, I'd never had to say, oh, it's Tuesday night and I'm supposed to pick up the kids. Or my slate was clean, ready for work to say, this needed to be done. If you need to travel, you need to stay after work, go to meetings, client dinner, or go to K-State stuff. We just cleared the slate, and she was all in. One of the reasons why it worked, because it really sounds awful as I'm saying this, one of the reasons why it worked is she loves K-State, she loves Manhattan, her parents live in Manhattan.
Right.
So every time I go to Manhattan, or she goes to Manhattan, or our kids go with us, she's going back to see her parents. I'm not taking her on some boring trip. She's going back to her school, and she may not be that much into sports, but she wants K-State to win, enjoys going to the games if it's football. But mostly I was going to her home all the time, and that made a giant difference. It made me feel like this plan was okay, because when we said, hey, got to go, it's Friday night, and we're leaving at 6:30, and I'll get there at 6:28, and hope the car's packed, I'll grab my stuff, we got to go, because I got to be someplace. We were at least going to Manhattan. And our kids don't know any better. I could say they're all in, but hey,
They're right.
How do they even know? I mean, they've been around K-State, their grandparents. My parents come to every home game, so it's like a big family reunion each Saturday at K-State football. But no, the pressure she had, now that we sit back and we have no children at home, college level or older, we have 2 grandchildren with our oldest daughter, Brittany, 2 girls. We talk about it, and she doesn't seem to be upset, but it's like, wow, you really had a lot on your plate. I mean, you had to get all 4 of them dressed, ready, everything, just go so that I could run and be at all these places. And I never slowed down my responsibilities. I'm not very good at saying no when you kind of know me. I mean, if people say, hey, can you come over and
do this show?
Aren't I doing something with you tomorrow night? Because you asked me to do it, so I end up telling Nancy, not going to be home tomorrow. Oh, really? Okay, I've been used to this for 30-plus years of marriage.
Right.
Where are you going to be? Sometimes she doesn't even know. It's just, I'll be home when I can, but I'm going to be doing something with Danny. So that's how she deserves so much credit, because there's no way I could run full speed if I had to keep looking back. If you're dropping stuff out of your backpack going, oh, did I? She totally had all that, everything. Just run as fast as you can, stand, and I'll take care of the rest. And my job as a parent really is to quality control. In other words, set the tone for the kids, hopefully, but monitor. Like if I see that they're needing more of my time, I would have diverted off and not made these my priorities. But the whole time, it looked like to me they were growing up. They were doing just fine. She seemed to be doing fine. Sounds kind of crazy, like I'm some psychologist, but I care about this stuff. That's the quarterback in me. I mean, people may think this is crazy, but I think about sports, right? Life's just a big football game to me. And when I look around and I was in the huddle, there were 10 other guys, and my job was to make them the best they could be. I could only be as good as I am, but I hope that they could be a little bit better if you push the right buttons, encourage the right guy. And that's exactly how I looked at both my wife and my kids, just to say, is everything okay? Is there anything I need to do? And the whole time, right or wrong, she's so good at what she did, I never slowed down. Whatever pace I sprint at, 1 mile an hour or Tyreek Hill speed of 20, whatever, I don't know. I just know I was able to go as hard as I could on all aspects of my life and never have to worry about things getting done around home.
Let's take our time out now. We'll come back and talk to Stan about time is evolving even more. K-State continuing to be good. The gap when Bill Snyder wasn't around, and a little bit more with Stan Weber. Straight ahead.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Looking for a truly unique escape from your normal entertainment or corporate team-building regimen? Stay tuned for an exclusive offer only for Reasonably Irreverent listeners. I'm excited to tell you about an extraordinary destination, the Exit Room, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Lee Summit. The Exit Room is a distinctive entertainment option that offers a cool alternative to the normal couples night out, family get-togethers, and corporate team-building events. The Exit Room is a one-of-a-kind boutique escape room catering to special occasions and corporate team-building events, and is unmatched in the Kansas City metro. With 5 individually designed and varied escape room adventures, your party or employees can unplug from their electronic world, interact with one another, match wits, and ultimately escape the humdrum of the ordinary. The Exit Room adventures cross decades and centuries and create fascinating fun. I know the owners well. They are local folks, their staff is warm and friendly, their lobby is inviting and beautiful, and their adventures are award-winning. Check online. There are over 1,000 reviews, and note that they are a rare 5-star ranked business. Visit their website and Facebook page, and any of my listeners who books online at theexitroomkc.com using the promo code ClinkScale19 gets 10% off any ticket purchase. The Exit Room in Lee Summit. Unplug, interact, and escape. Get a refreshing change of your expectations of a sports bar and restaurant at the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence. Matt Llewellyn's welcoming spot at Clinton Parkway in Cassold covers all the bases, like their own handcrafted beers and all the televisions you need for great sports viewing, but it's the large, varied, and delicious menu that stands apart. From a favorite of mine like the awesome ahi tuna appetizer to great sandwiches, outstanding pizza, and truly fantastic entrees, the 23rd Street Brewery has it all. Matt and his friendly staff make it that much more enjoyable. Food until 10, fun until late. The 23rd Street Brewery is a can't-miss stop when you are in Lawrence.
Before you spend your time and money going after an MBA, ask yourself why. Is it so you can tell people you got your MBA? So you can add a line to your CV? So you can call it a CV instead of a resume? Truth is, any MBA will do that. On the other hand, if your goal is to learn how to successfully manage and grow a business with real-world insights from experienced professionals, Well, consider getting your MBA from Park University. Our low student-to-teacher ratio gives you personalized attention, and our face-to-face and online classes offered in 8-week terms are designed with working professionals like you in mind. No wonder the Kansas City Business Journal ranks Park University as the top MBA program in the area. Classes begin June 10th at all 4 KC area locations: Parkville, Downtown, Independence, and Lenexa. Visit park.edu to get started.
For many people, a family law case will be one of the most difficult experiences in their life. The law firm of Kenneth McRae will help you through it. Personal and effective help from Ken in concert with you will develop a unique strategy for your unique case. As Ken always says, divorce can be civil law, not civil war. Licensed in Kansas? Visit McRaeLawOffice.com or call 913-972-4765.
Stan, let's sort of wrap up the first phase of greatness of K-State football with the biggest disappointment in K-State football history. I mean, you can talk about how horrendous they were, but being right on the cusp of playing for a national championship and not having it happen, what do you think that was like? It's not like it tore down the program or anything, but it would be the pinnacle of K-State football even to this day.
Yes, for one thing is it's easy for me, Danny, to be one who doesn't take anything for granted. I talked about earlier in our discussion, I don't limit how great you can be, but I'm also smart enough to go, this may be your opportunity. I talked about that with the Chiefs in the 2018 season. Don't tell me about all the next 10 years of Mahomes. When you're the best team, go win it.
Right.
Because you don't know how it's going to play out. So it was devastating on a lot of fronts, and not because I said, oh, it'll never happen again, but the likelihood of you being one of the 2 best teams in this whole country after a whole season by the voting and schedules and everything else, it wasn't that surprising that it was the only opportunity that they had to play for a national championship. But, yeah, I've talked to someone recently who told me the story that they were the one that jinxed the game. Because K-State led by 15 against Texas A&M in St. Louis in a Big 12 championship game in 1998, all that. And it's so funny how many people have the I jinxed the Wildcats story because I wrote a book, Tales from the K-State Sideline, with David Smell, and I talked about this. I felt like I jinxed him because the one thing that I have when I'm broadcasting is the complete discipline of not taking anything for granted. I'll broadcast a game, but I don't call it a win until it's done. I mean, I think more like a player, a coach, than a fan, so I stay focused. But this game, we're in the dome. We don't have we have an open booth because it's in a dome, so you could yell out. If you were in a row that I could see you, hey, Danny, you could do that. And we had a TV in our booth, and the game in Miami with UCLA and Miami was going on, and the upset. We needed an upset because we're actually third in the polls, not the regular AP, but the polls that put you in the championship game. And we could have won that day and still not gone.
Right.
So that was a little bit hard, but let's just go take care of business. So we're watching the game. K-State's up by 15 in the fourth quarter, and we see it's over. The upset that maybe we didn't count on at all happened. And so we're at a break, and you could see some murmuring, but people didn't have cell phones. People were looking it up to us or up into the suite level, and so it looked like they were looking at me. So I stood up and started pumping my hands up like, yes, the upset occurred. And you could just see people like, look, and they knew what we meant.
Right.
And there was just an excitement level going on. The K-State fans are like, oh, wow, the upset occurred. We win this. We're going to the national championship game. And from that point forward, the 15-point lead went away, went to double overtime. I saw a little bit of this the other day. K-State had 2nd and 2 from the 3-yard line, Danny, and they tripped over themselves. The running back ran into Michael Bishop. They lost 3 yards, and they weren't tackled by Texas A&M guys. K-State had to settle for a field goal, or they win it right there. It's over again. So it just wasn't meant to be. It was really crushing, and I felt so low, like you let down. You don't ever let down your discipline. You don't ever assume you got a game won.
Right.
I've met some other people now. I feel like I'm not the only one who felt like I let my guard down and I jinxed. But I wrote that in my book, so it made me feel double bad. But it was like almost like a funeral. We went on the bus. There was not one word said. I was with the team getting ready to go back to the plane, and it was crushing to see the loss. Not crushing to the program because Bill Snyder's going to snap back, but that chance to go play for a national championship. Not many schools get a chance to ever play for a national championship. We make it seem like it's no big deal, but the Clemsons, the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, there's not many schools who get a chance, and we were almost there.
At this point, I think it's a good thing to talk about the fans, because